All right, howdy humans. Let's kill that little music there. This is episode number 2 of Anything Goes, the podcast. I'm Crash. I'm here with Killer B, Big Johnson, Ensign Ricky. There he comes. And the Nitzilla.
Okay.
Now, I guess I'm the Nitzilla now. Okay, so understand Crash. Well, everybody, welcome to the podcast, the Anything Goes, the podcast. It gets easier to say when you say it a lot. So here's Crash, Ricky B, and Michael Johnson. And Crash, I understand you have a little Easter egg for us.
I have a clip that I saw. I thought it was hilarious because, as you guys may know and remember, I don't watch podcasts or anything of the sort. The most I ever get is like morning radio shows. So this is all new to me, and I think it's kind of cool that that's kind of my theme, because you guys are all well versed and I'm kind of coming at this brand new with brand new eyes. So when I saw this on YouTube, I think it's all about 2.5 minutes, and I just had to say this is perfect. So I'm going to show you guys a little clip and we'll go from there. Here we go. And
so it may not come as a surprise to you that
Oh wow!
Did you like that? I was like, that's perfect. That's what I think of podcasts. But I'm willing to have an open mind. Let's change this up, and I'm having fun with this.
Well, for the audience, Nitzilla actually has 3 takes. One is that this is kind of 5 white guys doing a podcast, right? We all know this, right, Johnson?
I assure you, I'm blacker than you are, but that's
you can put that out too if you want. But my inclination, as I've said, is to not edit anything except for spots that I'm sitting here talking and not saying anything. My second, which I guess is all the time, but my other take was, yes, we've talked about Sheldon before and Big Bang Theory, and how, Todd, you would love Big Bang Theory. And I don't love Big Bang Theory because everything Sheldon does is completely reasonable to me. And the same goes for that clip. Everything they did was completely reasonable to me. I don't know what the problem was, but everyone.
Well, like I said, this is something I saw. This is from my take of a podcast, and anything goes, buddy.
And anything goes. My only observation is that there may be an issue showing a 3-minute clip from Saturday Night Live on YouTube and what have you, but we'll cross that bridge when we come
to me. And I disclose where it came from. I am no way distributing or NFL mission of.
To be fair, I now know what to get Johnson for Christmas.
And it's not like any of us are making any money off of this. So
we're gonna have a little game later on. It's a classic game we all know and love, but
we have a game, we have a topic, we have a news segment, and we have and Ricky joining us for the first time on the podcast.
And Ricky.
So we're going to start off with B, and then we're going to throw it to Ricky, and it doesn't have to be super long, and in B's case, it's probably going to have to be cut off at some point. But B, who the F are you, and what are you doing here?
Yeah, I've known these guys for. Well, I've known Johnson for almost 30 years now, I'd say. Actually, over 30 years now, to mention it.
A little bit over 30 years.
These guys, gamed with them for many, many years. A little bit about me, Army veteran, Army infantry for certain. Finance guy, been in the financial services world for about 15 years now. Love gaming, love just having a good time. So here to enjoy it with some friends.
That's awesome, and I will testify in court, having known Brandon before and after the Army, that the Army did wonders for him.
It did, absolutely, 1,000%.
And Ricky, same.
Hi, I'm Ricky. I've actually known you guys I've known you, Jonathan and Brand, for like 25 years, and Crash for a little less. But I've known you guys most of my life, over half my life.
Oh, yeah.
So. That's awesome. Yeah. So the cliche in the podcast world is a bunch of best friends getting together and doing a podcast. Somebody tweeted, why isn't there a podcast with two of the worst enemies doing a podcast? That's the one I want to listen to. But that's really what it comes down to, is we're five really close friends who enjoy each other's company. And I got the thought in my head, this should be a podcast. We were having fun playing games, doing whatever, and we're going to be having fun and playing games and doing whatever as time goes on.
Yep.
We have all sorts of ideas for different formats and games we can play and different ways of doing this. We're just doing this now this way because we have to start somewhere. And we have a topic for the evening. Brandon, you picked the topic.
You know, the way we all met, for the most part, aside from Johnson and I met in like middle school, we actually all met over a game called Magic the Gathering at this place called The Grid, which is crash.
No, I wasn't raising. I was pointing. I have my little magic plug up behind me here.
Oh,
Sorry.
I do have some posters from The Grid. Carl gave these to me today. So.
oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah, so it's been something that I know. I started going down there in early '94. So the game came out in '93, and what's amazing about it is some of the cards now sell for about $1 million for one card. So they've become extremely collectible. They've become extremely rare over the years. They used to think that it was satanic when you used to play it in school. Teachers would grab your cards, throw them away, and put you in detention, like you were a criminal essentially. So. You know,
well, there was literally a card called Demonic Tutor. I mean, that's an anti-school card if I ever heard one. Like, it's got demonic and tutor right in the name.
The art's
And like
amazing. The
demonic
card's amazing.
consultation, demonic attorney.
I remember my excitement of first discovering Magic right around the same time, right when Legends stopped being sold. So somewhere summer '94, I think. But I was still going to bridge tournaments at the time. And I remember bringing some packs with me to the bridge tournament and opening them there. And the bridge partner was not thrilled with the themes of the game. Let's just say that. She was old school. And, you know, bridge is a game basically for older people. And I was in there in my 30s and everyone else around me was the age I am now or older. So there was that sensibility towards.
Well, Brandon, tell us more about your newest adventures in Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, so I actually collect the really old stuff. So some of the really primo stuff, like the Black Lotus, which is the rarest card in the world.
I wondered if the Black
they
Lotus.
can go. The one that actually goes up to $1 million is this card that's graded a perfect 10, so the highest score possible.
Is that what, alpha, beta, unlimited, what?
No. So the alpha ones, which is the first print run. Those can go for anywhere from $100,000 plus. So no, I did not invest that much money in the card. I have what's called the collector's edition, which I picked up for a very good price, but they're going to be, 5 digits pretty soon. So they're going to keep up over time. So what I did was I looked for softer spots in the market, and I said, these are the ones I want to target, because the alphas, the first print run, betas, the second print run, and unlimited, the third print run, those have already soared absolutely sky high. So I said, what are the ones that are going to be the next up and coming? So I do this with investments all the time. And this is called a collector's edition. So they made less than 10,000 of these in the world. And over half of them have been destroyed. And far over half of them have been destroyed. And there are not many left.
Those?
What was that?
When did they make them?
They made
Like,
them in
what year did
1993.
the collector's edition come out?
Yeah, they made them in 1993 when beta came out. So
Yeah,
it was a
I'll look it up to double check, but yeah.
Yeah, it was a $49.99 box that gave you the entire set from the original print run. So it had all the big stuff in it. And now, for something like this, you'd have to spend. I mean, I just got it for $5,000 last month. So they're extremely collectible. They're super rare. Now you can't find anything in that condition for under $8,000. So the way I look at it is, I made a $3,000 profit in 30 days with virtually zero risk. So I have that. And then I just picked up actually one of my favorite cards of all time just a couple days ago. And I actually picked it up at the Grid. I saw Carl, and it's called the Chaos Orb.
No, that's my favorite card. That's the one that I played.
I just bought this the other day, and
Wait, Carl
I'm
had
giving
it?
an archaeologist. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I mean it's absolutely amazing. It's fun. You know, you flip it and you go, and it's an awesome card.
Yeah.
Carl had a chaos orb.
No, I got it from a guy online, and we just met at the grid. He's a he plays a game called Alpha 40, which is only alpha cards. It's like the like his average deck's probably 200 grand, and if I had to guess, maybe 100 grand. I don't know. It's a lot. But
Just a little something about the format you're playing, because Crash will be interested in how you use the Chaos Orb in that format.
yeah, so it's called Old School. So what happens is it's called 93-94. So it's only the original sets. They call them the Four Horsemen. So you can use the original set, and then you can use the first expansion set ever was called Arabian Nights. So it was a very limited print run. The cards are incredible, and you could use those. The next one was called Antiquities, which is all about, it's mainly what's called artifacts, which are like a colorless card. So Magic, you have 5 different colors that you can use. You have white, blue, black, red, green, and then artifacts, which are colorless. So the Antiquities one was based around artifacts. Again, extremely limited print run, super highly sought after. And then the one that Todd mentioned was Legends, which Legends was a huge set. I mean, it was absolutely, I think 350 or 400 cards that came out, where Arabian Nights was 80 cards or 82 cards, and Antiquities was around 100 cards. So 119, something like that. But Legends is huge. And again, extremely collectible. They had a little bit higher print run, but cards in really great condition are getting harder and harder and harder to come by. And they're starting to get super expensive. So I'm buying really all I can before they start to spike. And but the format of play is called Old School. So you get to use those different cards from the original sets, and then you make decks that are only old school cards with different rule sets to them. And you find other people who have the super rare cards, and you play in tournaments. So I'm playing in a tournament in May 14th called LobsterCon in Boston, Mass, or right outside of Boston. And it's Old School. So it's going to be all the best cards in the world. Some of these decks are going to be worth, again, $100,000 plus that people are playing. So super nostalgic, super exciting, great. It's a gentleman's format for sure.
So this LobsterCon, I
Yeah,
thought
as long as you don't like rip up your cards.
What was that?
Go ahead,
As
Ricky.
long as people don't rip up your cards.
No, it's a gentleman's format. So everyone knows, like, nobody's shuffling your deck for you. It's very, people know that you're bringing a lot of money down in cards. So it's not the most competitive format in the world. People are going to bring things that are just fun to play with, but again, you get to see some of the coolest things out there from the old school days when we played, and it's gonna be just a lot of fun. So I'm trying to put together this deck from scratch. I haven't had any cards for a long time, and it's extremely cost prohibitive. So I tell people, if you're going to play the format,
I thought that this format was you guys sitting at home and playing over Zoom.
So yeah, so people will play over the internet as well, but the in-person one, they'll have conventions where they do it, and I cannot wait to play in person in this format.
It does sound like a lot of fun.
I think it's great having those cards back in play, because they've just been delegated to be sitting in a hard cover and just being looked at. But it's nice to get them out there and playing again.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm always willing to use World Championship cards with black borders in my decks. If you were using plastics, I didn't know. If you're using plastics that hid the card back, I didn't know what the problem was. But some people had problems with it, some people didn't. But
wouldn't it be bad if you don't have like the Power 9 and stuff?
Yes.
Someone does.
The arguably 9 most powerful cards in the game, and if you don't have them, you're at an extreme disadvantage. So an extreme disadvantage.
From long, arduous sessions of Magic with people, you guys remember Fred? We can mention first names, I suppose.
Yeah.
As long as we're not too specific, which is he was the boy who had everything. And if you're playing against him and you're playing a similar deck, except he's got the Power 9 and you don't, or maybe you have 1 Mox or what have you, you're just
then you can't. Yeah,
you lose.
You don't lose every game, but you lose far more games.
Yeah.
Percentage wise. But interested in following up on the Chaos Orb. How do you use the Chaos Orb when you're playing on the internet?
Yeah, so you pick a card of your own. So there's 2 ways to do it. They call it the gentleman's rule, where you just pick a target and it destroys it. Or nowadays, so when we used to play a lot back in the day, whenever you play the card, if it hit 10 cards on the board, it wiped out all 10 cards. Nowadays, it's single target only. So the same thing, you flip it from 12 inches above the playboard, and if it hits the target, so when you're doing it online, you just use one of your own cards and you have it on video, so you can see if it hits it or not. But it's not nearly as exciting as it was back in the day when we used to scramble to get everything out, or people would rip them up in tournaments and throw them, and all the pieces would hit cards. That was actually a way somebody won a major tournament. You won't do that anymore with the price of these things, but it's just a lot of fun, and it's considered the best removal card in the format.
Didn't they make a card and include like that? Chaos Confetti?
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, they did have that.
And I want to remind the folks at home that even back in the day, Chaos Orb wasn't cheap. It's not like we were, some people were ripping up $100 card because they wanted to win the tournament. It's not like they were ripping up a piece of shit.
Yeah, now they're thousands. I mean, some of these will go for $10,000 to $15,000 in the first alpha.
I actually owned a Chaos Orb back in the day, and I'm just going to do a quick show here. This was my favorite card to play with it, obviously.
Yeah.
And I had quite the combos. People were using counters, and they would put their counters like on top of their cards to make sure.
You mean Todd?
Well, there was many others. They knew, once they knew I had this combo in the deck, that it would I'd be having little glass beads on top of all kinds of cards and stuff. But
So Crash, pull up Guardian Beast. Because Guardian Beast, you can use the Chaos Orb as much as you have mana. So you can flip it 10 times if you want to with Guardian Beast.
well, isn't it destroyed at the end?
Yep.
I don't remember what Guardian Beast did.
You can't,
Does
if
that-
you artifact
that
that's
can't be
destroyed,
destroyed.
it doesn't go to the graveyard. So you can just keep flipping it.
I used what I had. Back
Yeah.
in the day when people were playing all these super combos, I was still playing like Highlander and stuff. Just to say, even the lands I had were all Highlander, and it was a big deck. But it was all the dual lands and the other. And this was back in the day when there wasn't a lot of specialized lands, except for like Maze of Myth and stuff. But this was I still enjoy that format of having the whole. That's a rock Hydra.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I wanted to show the folks at home. So I was pointing out for folks at home the thing that Crash was mentioning about counters, because you would put dice.
I was like, what are you talking? That's nothing to do with Chaos Orb.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Godzilla will bring things home. So you'd put dice on the cards. You would cast a 6-mana Rock Hydra and put a die on it with the number 6, but not Todd. Todd knew that Crash was playing with Chaos Orb. So Todd insisted on putting counters on the Rock Hydra so that the Chaos Orb. I had a 21
Never touched it.
21 little beans to put on the Rock Hydra. That was the story Todd wanted to tell.
What a terrible card Rock Hydra is, by the way.
Yeah, I never was a fan because
I was never a fan either.
We were.
some people loved it. I never really played a lot of red though.
I love that card.
There's a reason why we were known as Red Todd back in the day.
Red Todd. I remember that.
Do you guys remember Crashland? I
Yeah,
could have a whole podcast on that.
we should do a podcast on Crashland, but I think we're ready to move on to another segment for this particular, unless someone else has anything to add.
I think we've covered Magic pretty well, and for those who know it, for those that don't, are probably done listening to it.
Shall we play a game?
A game, okay. I have to put my glasses on for this one. All right.
We're in grid view at the moment, or we're still in grid
Yeah.
view? Okay. I didn't have that view button when I had that other screen. That was what was disturbing.
I don't. All I see is like your 5 faces, but I don't know if it bounced back and forth once we.
We throw it on screen, it bounces back and forth.
That's fine. All right, I want to play a classic game called 20 Questions.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
Everybody good with this?
Yeah.
All right, Johnson, you're the quietest, so I'm gonna ask you: do you want a person, was a person, an object, or an animal?
Object.
An object. All right. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Okay. This is PG-13, right?
This is what everyone want it to be, buddy.
It was until you're about to speak.
Listen, Crash. We can
Does it have a relationship with sex?
Wait a minute. Is this a yes or no question? Why are you asking us a question? Aren't we supposed to ask you questions? It's 20 questions.
No, I'm going to ask you guys questions. You guys have to figure it out.
I'm going to
Or
say
I'm going to figure it out. That's what I'm going to say.
you're going to figure it out.
I'm playing with Johnson. Fuck you guys. All right. So
No.
your choices are yes, no, probably, probably not, and I don't know.
No.
No,
People, you know who I am.
I don't know what's happening. So apparently this isn't exactly what I thought was going to happen, but we're going to continue.
Why I'm here.
Is it an electrical device?
Yes.
Wait, what?
Can you play with it? You could go.
Not with its. You kind of can.
Vibrator.
Not not without other things.
All right, we're going to
Vibrator.
go with, I don't know.
Vibrator.
Does it have a screen?
Yes.
What are we doing right now? I don't even know. What
Is it a phone?
No.
Can you put it into a bag?
I'm sure you could. Yes.
This is going to ask, I'm going to ask actually 20 questions. Does it have a keyboard?
It itself does not.
Okay, it does not. Is it produced by Nintendo?
No.
Is it something you can wear?
No.
Does it contain games?
I mean, it can, but it usually doesn't itself. No.
Okay, okay. Is it made by Apple?
Some of them are, yes. Some of
Ding.
them are not.
Does it contain phone numbers? Don't think too hard.
No, it itself does not. I will say.
All right. Is it an Apple tablet?
No.
All right, this is question 14.
iPod.
Can you transport it in your pocket?
No.
Does it have a touch screen?
Some do.
Ding.
Is it frightening?
No. Frightening, I know.
Does it possess several flavors?
No, no flavor.
Question 19. Do teens wear it often?
Kings do not wear it. No.
Teens,
No
like
one
teens.
wears it.
Teams.
Teens, no, they don't wear it.
Team.
No one wears this.
Can you put discs in it?
The object itself, you cannot, but
Does it have an antenna?
I thought you said that was 20.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
you're
no.
no
No.
antenna. Can you suck it? Okay, here we go.
Not if you don't want. I mean, you can if you're really into that kind of stuff.
I'm thinking this might have been a bad idea to ask Johnson this, but it's not an iPad?
No, it's a computer monitor.
Okay.
May I interject
You do whatever the hell you want.
real quick? The idea of the game was that you come up with a game that we all can play, not a game that you can play and have some random person who doesn't even know what they're doing host.
I'm sorry, but you did not specify. You said a game. If I wanted to, we'd play Five-Way War for all I fucking care. So you cannot dictate a game and then I have to read your mind. This is not how it works.
Okay, so we're
If you want to do that, we'll play the letter game where I say a word and then you have to say a word that begins with the last letter of the word.
it sounds like bands. I hate bands.
All right, so we're gonna go food. So apple. Go ahead, Todd.
Isn't an apple.
Say you stuck. All right, Ricky. Apple.
Pineapple.
I don't.
Nothing.
I don't
B. Killer B. Apple.
Is it red? I don't know.
No. Johnson. Apple. See, nobody got a fucking clue. All right, so the answer was eggs. Because you have to think of another food that begins with the last letter of the word that I said.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's try again.
Okay.
Roll, Todd.
Eggs.
What?
Eggs. Wait, no, I know this. I know this. I had this for brunch. It's on my Facebook. Locks.
Oh.
Oh.
Now come up with an X, Ricky.
Way to kill it, buddy. Xenomorph.
Can you choose me at least so we have a fair shot at this one?
All right,
Game
well,
over.
X and Q do not count, neither does Z.
I
Those are
can get
the.
all of them.
You can get all of them?
Yes.
Okay, X, smartass.
Xylophone.
If you need a xylophone, I'd be pretty damn impressed. But you see, this is why. This,
I had a light
okay,
lunch.
okay. This is
What is
why
happening?
you can't just say game. Because we get shit like xylophone and eggs.
Oh, buddy, I've learned. I've already learned.
I will be doing.
I thought it was ROLE, not ROLL. Maybe that's what it was. That's why I said eggs.
You guys want to do some news? The timing is actually pretty good. Let's try to squeeze in a couple of news stories. All right.
Okay.
News nuggets. You guys talked over that. Give me one. Let me give it one more.
Nitzilla's news nuggets.
Okay.
What frightens you that you sat home doing that?
I've been home all week doing things like this.
I would have just kept pushing that button because it's funny.
I pushed the button.
Incorporated in my actual life.
I pushed
All
the
right.
button.
Take it away.
I need to do the thing with Zoom again where the view has to be my screen. So I am sharing my screen and I'm sharing the news wheel of doom.
Holy crap.
Hey, this is something I've actually heard of.
Dolly Parton, for those who are not in the know, Dolly Parton was nominated this year for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And, yada, yada, yada. In a statement shared to her social media, yada, yada, the country chanteuse said that while she was extremely flattered and grateful for the nomination, she didn't feel she'd earned that right. I really do not want votes to be split because of me, so I must respectfully bow out. So Nitzilla has a take, which
I was taking this too, actually.
my take is that Dolly is a rocker in my book. She
Negative.
in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't care about genre. 9 to 5's a rock song.
Is that more of a pop song? I wouldn't call it rock.
Well, we have to consider the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and there is a follow-up to the story that I just saw today, but the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has been putting in all sorts of different artists for all sorts of different genres for years. Maybe she's more of a country artist than they've had in the past, but she's an entertainer, and to me, she's a rocker in my book. Let's get your other takes while I look up the latest.
My take is the fact that they've inducted groups like NWA, that was a rap group, into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Seriously?
Yep.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
Jay-Z, the rapper, got put in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's not cool.
It's inclusive now.
I would say that I could come up with we could come up with a huge list. I'm trying to find the.
Cool J.
I'm sorry.
Got inducted.
Yeah, like everyone gets inducted. That's a musician for a long time, no matter what genre, or they put out a lot of hits, even if they're country rap. They should just call it the Music Hall of Fame.
They should just call it the Music Hall of
Yeah,
Fame.
I can agree with that.
So the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame put out a statement that says, "We are in awe of Dolly's brilliant talent and pioneering spirit and are proud to have nominated her for induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame." The ballots already went out, and they're basically saying they're not taking her off the ballot. People can vote for her or not vote for her, but the ballots went
Yeah,
out.
it says Eminem leads Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominations.
Eminem's going this year, and rappers and R&B artists and all sorts.
Notorious B.I.G. is not rock and roll. Jay-Z is not rock and roll.
That's why
I agree with them because like rock and roll is loosely based. You can go all the way back to like Bo Diddley, and you can go like different genres like southern rock, hard rock, grunge rock, alternative rock. You can do all that stuff, but the closest thing you could say for Dolly is maybe a southern rock. And Eminem I can kind of see because he was a little poppy at times with some rock and roll mixed with rap, and I agree with that. But I would say you have to be a primarily, unless you're nominating the actual song.
Yeah, I would say though, in terms of
rock and roll, you don't think of NWA, Tupac Shakur, or Notorious B.I.G. That's rap. That's not rock.
I would say that people are getting a little bit caught up in the rock and roll element of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and
because it's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's why.
What if they want to identify as rock?
I'm not playing this game. Identify as female rock. I don't care. Yeah, you can do that.
But the term as they're using it is, even though yes, it is in the name, the term as they use it is used loosely. And Dolly is one of the best of us, by the way, and she should get any accolades that are coming her way. That was my take. You guys want to try another one?
Things. She does a lot of good things for the kids.
She does a lot of
good things. Yeah.
Oh my God, I actually went in Tennessee to her Dollywood. That was incredible. She and it showed how much she's done for the less fortunate and stuff. And she's not all about the money. I mean, she is an incredible person.
Kind of where I want. I would love to get to a point. Not that I want her kind of. I'm not trying to say I want her kind of money, but I'd love to get.
I mean, I'm not going to argue that guys like NWA and Tupac aren't deserving. They are deserving to go into a Hall of Fame, but they're not deserving to go in they're deserving to go into a music Hall of Fame, the Rap Hall of Fame, not a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
And I would again throw the argument to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is trying to do a thing, and it's should be called something different, but it's not. It's still called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they're putting all of these artists in that rock and roll may be loose term, or it may not even be applicable at all, but they're
like even putting like Stevie Ray Vaughan and Bill Withers in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is iffy. I mean, yeah, okay, Stevie Ray Vaughan is Southern rock, but Bill Withers.
They're trying to expand the brand. They're trying to expand the, get exposure. I guess, throw all these other people in. Other people are going to be attracted. They'll go to it. Maybe people who like rap wouldn't have no reason to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame if Biggie Smalls wasn't in there.
So fast it was about tickets to a
and also, as much as I love the Moody Blues, they're not rock. They're alternative, maybe, I guess. But so I wouldn't classify them as rock.
What is rock? When you really break it down, like, what is rock then?
All right, but you got to say, what is the Country Music Hall of Fame, and what's that all about,
They have rappers in the Country Music Hall of Fame now.
You're asking me what rock is? You're asking me what my take is on rock is?
Yeah, what is it?
My take on rock are groups like Bon Jovi, Journey, even though I don't like them, Journey, Pearl Jam, yes. I mean, even groups like the Cars are kind of pushing the line.
Cars are rock and roll.
I'd say so.
Cars?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I mean, this is just my take. I mean, that's it. Oh, you all have to conform to my take or blah blah blah. I don't.
No, of course
that's
not.
what I think.
Well, what is Britney Spears? Or
Britney Spears is pop, but she'll get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame soon enough.
Right. Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. What do you consider to be actual rock?
I think they're using pioneers, trailblazers, and masters of industry. That's what they're doing. If you're past a certain point of popularity, or
Sales too, I'm sure.
There's
Yeah.
Beastie Boys. Is Beastie Boys rock?
They weren't when I was in high school, but I would definitely consider them that now.
But the
Oh
rock.
God,
That's
that's a heavy
The
question.
Cars were the class of 2018. Johnny Cash, class of 1992. He's got a soul of a rocker.
No,
But you would never.
Guns N' Roses is rock.
Guns N'
Guns
Roses.
N' Roses is
Absolutely.
my favorite fucking band.
but that's metal. That's metal too. So that's another spin-off of rock.
Not necessarily just metal. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Is there ultimately more variations than just like what is rock?
I mean, Earth, Wind, and Fire is one of my all-time favorite bands. Is that rock?
It was.
Nobody does. Nobody does Got to Get You into my life better than Earth, Wind, and Fire. Not even the Beatles. In my book.
I've actually got to watch Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Well, you should
Just for the band.
I don't know about watching the movie. Watching the movie is a completely different story, unless you like to watch George Burns sing.
Johnson, what's your take on Dolly Parton?
I'm going to play that for you guys.
Yeah, I would say she should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 100%.
Why?
For all that she does. I mean,
She's in the
some
Country
of it is
Music Hall
rock,
of
some
Fame.
of it- She's a very good country music artist. I'm not sure if she's in the Country Music Hall of Fame or not. I would assume that she is, but
Yeah, I would
I'm
assume.
not sure. But yeah, she should be in Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
Give this listen, since Ricky mentioned Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I won't play the whole minute 45. Guys, remember George Burns?
Oh yeah.
I do.
Yep.
Isn't that God?
He was God. He was absolutely God.
Todd, make this stop.
I was only going to play 15 seconds anyway.
Okay. I don't know what that was.
You guys want to try one more?
Oh, by all means. Unless someone else has something to add, but
Todd, I hope you use the one that I sent you earlier because that
Yeah,
one
it's
was
on there. Bitcoin is the only real currency.
no, not that one.
Oh, I did use both that you sent me.
The glass.
Yeah, I used the glass.
Can you rig that one? Because I want to see Crash's face and Johnson's face. Ricky, I think it'll just be normal for him, but the rest of us will be like, what?
Depends on how much time you guys have. I can do all 8.
Yeah.
I think the glass, Todd. Can you just please do me a solid with the glass?
We'll do the Bitcoin one, and then if there's still time, we'll do the glass one, okay? Because I did roll the Bitcoin one. Now, I have no take on Bitcoin per se, but I thought it should be on here because it was one of Brandon's alternate plans. And I found a video. I'm going to play about 30 seconds of the video, and then I have a take. So let me share my screen real quick. Again.
try to stop bouncing there, Todd.
Apple co-founders Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak are famous for being at the forefront of technological innovation. They literally built one of the most valuable companies in the world. But Steve Wozniak has also been all in on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies for a while now. He understands how disruptive this technology is. So we've got this quote here recently. He said that Bitcoin is mathematics, mathematical purity. There can never be another Bitcoin created. Bitcoin doesn't even have a creator that we know of. Bitcoin isn't run by some company. It's just mathematically pure. And I believe nature over humans, always. Steve Wozniak.
So I have a take.
All right.
That was the take.
Oh, that was it? All right. Where does Bitcoin come from?
So
Bill or B?
I actually went to Cornell University for financial technology and blockchain, and there is a guy named Satoshi is the name that he's under, and he's the creator of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, and nobody knows who he is. There is a guy who's claiming to be the inventor of Bitcoin who actually just won the rights in court to say he's the creator. But there is, I believe, 1 billion Bitcoin or a couple $1 billion worth of Bitcoin in a wallet that has not been changed or moved since 2012. And it's just sitting out there. And they're saying, hey, if you're Satoshi, move some coins from that wallet. So far, he is not. As far as mathematical purity, yeah, it's about scarcity. There's only so many that can ever be created. And originally Bitcoin was used for trade, but it was meant to be outside of the realm of regular currency or DeFi, decentralized finance. And where it caught popularity was a thing called the Silk Road. A guy created that name. His code name was DPR, Dread Pirate Roberts. And essentially what it was you can buy anything that you wanted on the Silk Road. So it was a digital adaptation of, the old Silk Road back in, the ancient Silk Road per se. But you could buy drugs, you can buy black market goods, services, organs. Literally, you can buy anything that you wanted to on this. So the FBI really said, hey, this is probably not a good thing. They didn't like the fact that they couldn't tax it. There was a lot of illegal activities going throughout the world. Some, by the way, perfectly legal transactions. But the FBI raided it. They finally figured out who DPR was. And he's got 5 life sentences. He's in jail forever. All for creating this Silk Road on the internet. But Bitcoin was cheap back in the day. And, now it's become completely mainstream. It is not a security, so I can actually talk about it at this time. And it's caught on more than ever. And countries now have actually said, El Salvador said, hey, Bitcoin is our actual currency of choice. So we have the dollar, they use Bitcoin. And it's an interesting concept, and governments don't like it because they lose power.
Yep, I heard about that. That's good. Well, how do you get Bitcoin? Do you have to buy it?
Yes, you can buy it. So there's a couple different things that you can do. So you can go on. There's different websites now that are really mainstream, but you can buy it on these websites, and they'll hold it in different wallets. They're called wallets, and it used to be a lot harder to buy because now there's so many variations of Bitcoin. They call them shit coins, and some of them, which are just made up coins that have no purpose. There's been just not in the frame anymore. So all of these different things that you can buy on these websites, and some of them have purpose or goals to them. But Bitcoin is thought of as a digital gold, or digital storage of gold. And you can actually, if you get big into it, and you can get these, which are called ledgers, or a cold storage wallet. So I can bring this anywhere in the world, and it's got a passcode to it that in order to access my wallet, you have to have the codes based on this to get into them. Otherwise, you can't move the money. So when you think of safety and security, and the ability, I can move millions of dollars around the globe without having to worry about stuffing a suitcase with cash and transport it anywhere at any time that I want. So governments don't like that. Governments don't like that.
Well, they want to regulate it and they want to tax it, of course.
They want to regulate and tax. Yep. And throughout most of humanity,
that's
bartering.
Sort of how everything works, right?
Exactly. Everything's illegal until it's legalized and taxed.
Well, where would we be if we didn't have government, though?
$30 trillion less in the hole.
Right. But you need services. You need infrastructure. You need social services. You need all those things. I understand there's problems with all of that, but you still need those things.
I don't think we're worried about what things that we do need. I think it's all the things that we don't need is where the big problem lies.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Always look at any bill that's passed. It's full of pork. I mean, they stuff these things to the gills. I can go on for days about it, but I won't.
See, that's how they get you.
Yeah.
Man is going to get you.
Yeah, every time.
So Brandon had a story, and he would like me to tell the story. I guess I could share my screen for this, or just read.
Please do.
I will share my screen. This is from the New York Post. I will read it, but I will also share my screen. So click Zoom, click on share screen, click on woman's UTI was actually glass tumbler in her bladder for 4 years. A woman who doctors thought had a UTI actually had a glass tumbler stuck in her bladder for 4 years. The 45-year-old had come to the hospital complaining of typical lower UTI, urinary tract infection symptoms, such as leaking. But doctors were left stunned when scans revealed there was a glass inside her bladder. It was encased by an 8 centimeter wide, 3-inch wide bladder stone, which are normally so small they are hard to see with the naked eye. The woman from Tunisia revealed she had used the drinking glass as a sex toy for a number of years before. Evidently, I'm sorry?
Stop with the screaming.
You get the point, because it's after every paragraph. I'm sure that this doesn't bother Crash at all.
No, is it supposed to?
No,
I
well,
mean, Crash, you seen this before? Like,
Oh, I've seen worse, much
Oh, no.
worse.
part of this was, hello, we're going to do this story and then throw it to Crash. So, okay, Crash, you've seen worse?
Okay, so a tumbler is like a shot glass, right?
Any
Yeah.
glass could be
3
tumbler.
I
inch.
think it's a little
Glass.
more like smaller than a water glass, but larger than a shot glass. But yes, you have the gist.
All right, I'm going to call some slight bullshit here because urethras, as everyone has one, or everyone had a Foley or anything like that. The best
Yeah,
you
you
can
can't get
get
anything in.
is about 2 inches stretch, maybe 3. I'm not, I am not a doctor, and I am not my anatomy and physiology knowledge is pretty good. Don't spend a lot of time with urethras, but I know that you just can't simply stretch it as much to a glass. However, if some reason you could get it through the urethra, it definitely could fit into a bladder very easy. Bladders hold, up to 1 liter for the largest size of bladders. But yeah, I'm not sure how I could see a glass getting through the urethra. However, there's many other cavities in the human body that can hold massive things.
Oh, do tell.
Okay, I'll give a quickie. Here's a quickie.
Oh, by the way, this is going to be happening. What you say? But go ahead.
Maybe you should.
You want me to use the?
Oh, wait, go up. It says you had a picture of it. Go up a little. The X-ray there.
Oh, there it is. You're right. I didn't even know.
Yeah, click on that.
Oh boy. That takes us back to the article. I didn't even. Let's see if I can. This Zoom thing is in the way. The Zoom. Let me see.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, I want to see if I can open image instead of opening.
That's not just up in the uterus there.
There it is, in all its glory.
Yeah, I still don't see it getting through the urethra. Maybe there's people out there, you can, in the comments, tell me I'm wrong. I'm always like to be wrong, but I just don't see it getting through the urethra. And no offense, but there's people into a lot of kinky shit, but I don't know. I mean, I have had calls. Let me tell you guys, I have had calls with things stuck in the urethra. Usually the only time would be by a male, but I've had other things. Well, let's stick to the fairer sex. Let's stick to what women can do with their lovely bodies. But back in the day, well before even my grandparents, probably, did you guys know that uteruses can fall out?
Uteruses can fall out. I don't really.
I'm gonna ask Johnson.
100%
Probably the one person that can make one fall out that I know.
Well, no, because you got to get past the cervix. But anyway, so no, dude, why would you do that? It'd rip it in half. Do you know how strong a cervix is? Never mind. Anyway,
how strong.
So to be fair, Johnson, can you tell us your old AOL screen name, please?
No.
Okay, good one. I like it. Okay, I will finish my ridiculous story, and then we'll talk about our bowling team name.
I remember our bowling team name.
Yep. So back in the day, depression years or whatnot, is uteruses fall out, and today they're just snipped and tucked and taken away, and they're called hysterectomies. But back in the day, before all that, they would fall out, and old women, would find ways to keep them up. And one of those ways was a potato. Oh yes, you can stick a potato in your vagina, and it will hold your uterus in place. However, I speak from this because I did this call. when you get old, you also have mental problems. You have dementia, Alzheimer's, or any other kind of mental forgetfulness, and they grow.
They get eyes too, I imagine.
But they also get roots and stems and shoots. And anyone who's had potatoes in their closet and forgot about them notices that they grow. Well, if they have plenty of cozy warmth and moisture, they will grow and they will exit to the sun in any way possible, usually the shortest route. So yes, indeed, I had a call, brought the lady to the ER, took her clothes off, and they were absolutely potato vines growing from her vagina. And that is a scary tale of the week.
On that note,
I'm not even getting into like jelly, jams, corn cobs, broomsticks, none of that. We'll just go with potatoes right now.
Well, you got to leave them wanting something, right? So that all that on more next time on the Anything Goes the podcast. I guess it's a good time as any to wrap it up.
Oh, we got to do the dad joke of the week too.
Yeah, I didn't write that one down because you just hit me with that just before the show, and I forgot to put it on my list here. But absolutely, we're doing the dad joke of the week. Crash, you have a dad joke of the week for us.
Oh, I do have a dad joke of the week. And I'm sorry for my family who has heard this before, but I fully expect eye rolling and grunting and shame brought upon me for this.
would not be the first time, Crash. Would not be the first time.
Fair enough. That's my role in this group. That's fine. Okay. If anyone knows the answer, just blurt it out. Here we go. What is the difference between an enzyme and a hormone? You can't hear an enzyme.
Fair enough.
Wow.
I'm not sure anybody got Ricky, did you get it? Yeah, okay.
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to explain the punchlines. I'm just going to let your brain cook it for a while.
Yes, I get it. I get it. I get it.
So
I'll assign Ricky to have the next dad joke for next time.
Pass.
No, you can't pass.
I'll do it.
I'm sorry. Did we give you the option of passing? No.
I'll do it.
Yes, I'm taking the option.
I'm a dad joke connoisseur.
All right.
I forgot to play the outro for the news segment.
Nitzilla's News Nuggets.
The outro.
Better late than never.
Is that Ricky?
No, that
Sounded like Ricky.
All right, we'll have to have a dad joke, introduction or something.
That was what I was working on all day yesterday and all morning today.
That 2-second blurb?
Well, no, 16 2-second blurbs.
Okay. I watched some of that video.
Yeah, it was nice. We can talk about that later, though. There was please like, comment, and SMOrcscribe. It's all very, very important. And I know people always say it during podcasts, and every content listener gets tired of hearing it, but it really does help, folks. That's why people say it. That's why we say it. I'm Nitzilla at The Real Nitzilla. Nitzilla on Twitch, twitch.tv/Nitzilla. Nitzilla at outlook.com for business inquiries. This is Crash, Johnson, and B. And Ricky, you have a plug.
Yes. I have a Twitch channel too. Just go on Twitch and look for Rick Beasto 1. And I'll be streaming there. I'm actually streaming tonight in probably about an hour at 8 o'clock Eastern time. I'll be probably streaming Dead Rising 2 Off the Record. If you guys want to join me, you can go right ahead. And that's it.
That's terrific. This isn't live, Ricky, so the audience doesn't know that you're streaming tonight. But hopefully when you watch it,
It's St. Patrick's Day at 7:04 p.m. So
I'm the only one wearing green.
I selected this shirt. You see the green highlights in this
No,
shirt?
that doesn't count.
What do you mean it doesn't count? I carefully selected this shirt because it was literally the only thing I had in my wardrobe with green, except for one shirt that I didn't want to wear because it's a little stuffy.
All right, Todd. Well, I guess you did the best you could.
I don't know. I think that's green, so.
Okay, well, I guess screw St. Patrick's.
For Crash, Johnson, B, and Ricky, this is Nitzilla. Thank you for your time.
Take care.